Hi, it's John Flynn with Copley Advertising, and today we're going to talk about the Zuck is back. The Zuck is back, yes. The Zuck is in the building. Really hasn't left the building, but you know, it's a metaphor. Mark Zuckerberg has announced that his New Year 2018 resolution is to fix Facebook. Now, this could be taken a few different ways. In the past, Mark's resolutions for the year have been kind of tongue-in-cheek. They've been, I will wear a tie to work every day. I will learn Mandarin. I will go to the states I haven't visited, and I could say I've been to all 50 states, and things of this nature. Not necessarily what would you call earth-shattering. Not necessarily you would call something that's going to move humanity the next step. But it's a different set of circumstances now. Obviously, Zuckerberg and Facebook have been under attack for the Russian fake news, and he hasn't played it right. He really played it right. You know, I mean, Zuckerberg, this is when, in the beginning, he's been like this. He just kind of goes in that iron fortress of his and thumbs his nose, or seems like he's thumbing his nose at everybody, and just says, I'm working on Facebook and I don't give a damn what you say. So, you know, we've seen this behavior before, but Facebook's never been under this kind of scrutiny. And it's a weird scrutiny too, because there's one thing to be under scrutiny for stuff you really did, and then there's something to be under scrutiny for stuff that's kind of out of your control. Now, listen, I think 98% of the population thinks that, you know, this is wrong and fake news has got on the platform, and this is, you know, Facebook should have been all over this and how this happened. Yeah, and for some of us who are in digital mobile marketing and kind of been around a little long, can clearly see how this happened. I mean, you have to remember there's millions and millions and millions of bits of information going on Facebook every day. There's no way you can comb through that information. Now, Facebook does have standards, so if you say something wrong or bring up a topic that's, you know, wrong, and you know, the Facebook filters will tag you and throw you off. That's easy. But in the sense of saying you're like John's media company and you have a shell company in New Jersey, and then all of a sudden your real company though is in St. Petersburg in Russia, then you start publishing newsletters or things that look like articles, you know, about how Hillary Clinton is a, you know, whatever. That's really hard to get to because it's hard to write filter programs that are going to tag such things, because they, you know, everybody has an opinion, they do stuff, and for it to be dressed up like a newsletter is kind of like a really weird, fuzzy issue. But you know, I think for people removed from this, and I've talked to some very bright people and people in the news business, and they're just like, oh, this should be stopped. It should be easy to stop. Not that easy. Not that easy. So I'm not saying it shouldn't be stopped, okay? But I do have a hard time defining entertainment and news. And I do have a hard time defining fake news and real news. I mean, there's a line, but what is that line? I think that's an interesting conversation. But anyway, so, you know, one wonders if Zuckerberg's coming back to do that, to you know, raise his sword and say, I'm going to fix this, or is he just going to come back to fix, like, you know, Facebook Messenger has to be prettier? You know, it's hard to tell. You know, I mean, I think from the very beginning, Zuckerberg should have been all over this and, you know, held a news conference and said, you know, I am the god of Facebook. This is wrong, and I'm going to stop it. Sorry. And we're going to do everything we can to stop it. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe his lawyers told him that wasn't really a good idea, which lawyers tell you things like that. But, I would have come up with something, besides, seeming very, removed from the situation. But, again, I've been betting against Zuckerberg for a long time. I'll admit it. When Zuckerberg went IPO, I was like, oh, opening price. I think it was $40 or something. It was, oh, Facebook make money. Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. I was like, oh, crazy. I mean, I'm not one to say. I think there's been very few people as consumer savvy as Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, and the fact that Mark Zuckerberg deliberately stays in his lane. You ever notice that? Zuckerberg doesn't want a war with anybody. He doesn't go after Google. He doesn't bother Amazon. He doesn't go after Apple. He just stays where he is. And there's a tremendous amount of growth where he is, and he's happy to stay there. He doesn't, war is expensive. So, he's good the way he is. So, it'd be interesting to see, what happens. I hope for the whole industry's sake, I really do, that Zuckerberg, comes up with a plan, takes control of this, is overt, and doesn't hide in a fortress and get this done. John Flynn, Copley Advertising, give me 1 month. 1 month. And I'll fix it.